Hey y'all, and welcome to the Max Life. I'm just gonna cut right to the chase this morning and tell y'all everything is not hunky and dory here. It has been very hectic, to say the least. I feel better, Sayla feels better, but since then everybody has pretty well been dropping like flies. Livy and Jennings were basically the next. They started coughing, kind of achy, just not feeling real well. Right now we're dealing with like more mucus pretty much from Livy, but she acts okay during the day. So the thing with this virus is it's like respiratory and stomach stuff. I got no respiratory stuff, all of the stomach stuff, plus just not feeling great. Sayla got all of the respiratory stuff and none of the GI stuff. Jennings has both. Livy has only had the respiratory stuff. And then Harley and Eliza got up this morning, sore throats, bad headaches, just generally doesn't feel well. So I have been in and out of the bathroom with Jennings all morning. He is beginning to get raw, just whiny, doesn't feel good. So I've done the best I could with him. I've gave him some Gatorades, told him the rest for the rest of the day. We're in the process of trying to catch up on laundry. These puppies, they're cute and they're sweet and they're fluffy, but they are work. So every morning that I get up, I have soaked their food, some hard dog food. I've soaked it overnight. I feed all of them. Y'all see that there are towels down there. And I have tried to work less towels and more puppy pads, and I have watched several of them, and when they start pulling on those puppy pads, just give them a little thump on the nose so that they'll quit, and they still just move them all around in there. So between the peeing and the pooping, it is becoming a very much workload here. I'm constantly wiping that down, changing out the towels, and the little sheet, y'all see that we have her inside. She was extremely stressed out being over here with the puppies. So this is not ideal by any means. We brought a big dog kennel in, put some pine shavings down, also added a tarp. This is not what I had in mind, but the only way to be able to save her really is just to keep her inside. Now, I have a collar on her right now and a leash, and because we are about to go outside, I'm going to take her out. She cannot stay cooped up in this room. She is doing really well with her bottles. We have been bottle feeding her, and she loves those, and she is taken to us very well. Sometimes I just take her out without her collar on, but I just got her a collar and a leash just because we've got some work outside to do, which I'm going to bring y'all along with me for a little while. Since all of the kids are settled right now and everybody is kind of either in bed or laid on the couch, I have a lot, like an arm-long list of chores that need to be done before spring fully kicks off. And I'm going to take Miracle, that's what we named her because it's just a miracle that we found her. I'm going to take Miracle out with us and let her start getting more used to being outside. It's good exercise and she needs some sunshine. Really cool thing about having Miracle is that I'm going to be able to actually rent her out to some locals in our area for photography, which is going to be very beneficial and for us because we are having to spend so much money on her food for formula, milk replacement, you know, whatever you want to call it. So I really thought, you know what, this would be a good idea to be able to rent her out and try to make a little bit of that money back. Since it's going to cost us so much to feed her, so I am glad of that. She kind of likes to wander on her own, but today I'm going to be like coaxing her along to come with me. Like my boots are on the back porch. We need to go get those. So number one chore, I have my other pair of hands out here with me. Livy's going to be the babysitter. You going to watch her? Livy's going to be the babysitter. Hey, let it be low and it'll give her a little bit more slack. She'll have to kind of tough it out. If y'all ever heard the Jersey flop when you're halter training, well, it's a thing. Really with all animals because they just don't like that restraint, which she's got to learn, so it is what it is. Okay, here's the deal, y'all. My high tunnel. Y'all see how much trouble it causes. with grass. It's February and we have grass growing everywhere. So this is the plan. Aiden and I are about to lay a row over these rows. So we are giving all of this double layer in here. We're going to put all of this down today. I have raised beds we are going to start putting together and placing them in my high tunnel. Now, I really like the high tunnel because it does hold a lot of moisture. I hope to eventually be able to utilize these bars, at least for a water hose, to turn the thing on and kind of let it spray. I don't want to invest a lot of money into that, but it sure would be a lot easier to just turn on a knob and it spray everything. So this is our first order of business that we're going to get started on. I hope that we can knock it out pretty quick because, like I said, I have a long list of chores to do. I did a lot of it yesterday and got a lot knocked out yesterday, but it was still only a tiny little portion of what needs to be done. So we have to first find the staples because we can't find the staples. I have the tarp, can't find the staples. We're going to lay all this stuff out. Then we're going to get the raised beds put together, get them placed in there. I was able to fertilize all of our raised beds over here yesterday. If you see this little area right there, it was fertilized first. And you can already see a huge change in those versus everything else that's growing. So I used our rabbit manure on those a couple of weeks ago and they have grown so much. So I come out here yesterday, 1.5 of these were full. So I literally just took a bucket and went through with the rabbit manure and poured it absolutely everywhere and put a lot of water on it, kind of spread that out. So again, I was able to knock a lot of stuff out yesterday, but we still have a lot to knock out today, including picking broccoli is one of those things. We've already picked the big top centers, so the sides are going to be like florets, if you've ever heard of broccoli florets. So I'm going to get off here and we're going to get started, y'all, and I'll give you an update along the way. Okay, y'all, scratch that. We are not putting the fabric down today. I have looked everywhere that I could possibly think for the fabric staples, which holds the fabric down. And y'all, I don't know what we've done with them. I know there's no way we use the whole pack. I don't know if maybe they accidentally just got misplaced or accidentally thrown away. I have no idea what happened. So I'm going to move on to my next projects, which is planting potatoes and garlic. And I have been trying to use some leaves from back here. I mean, this is like an abundant supply of leaves, right? I've been just trying to kind of put some on my beds because I'm really sick of the grass seeds getting all in the soil. Now, some of it's going to work, some of it's not. Some of the wind's going to just, you know, obviously blow some off. But for the most part, I'm going to try to put some leaves down. I got this bed done yesterday. I decided to go ahead and make this a full mint bed, spearmint. This will all be spearmint. I mean, I would rather have all spearmint growing here than plant a couple of things and have the grass ended up just taking over. So spearmint will take over. It's going to take over this whole bed, we hope, and at least it's something that I can use. So I'm trying to think kind of along the lines of getting rid of grass or / grass control, and also it making more sense for me. So here you see the orange flags are the places that I have spearmint planted, and I come in and just put some leaves down on this, fresh leaves, and because they're fresh, of course, you see some of them have already blown away. So I'm going to restack those up today. I'm going to put some water on top of this in a little while to also help bed that down some more. And typically it's not this windy in Mississippi, so yeah, I don't know what the deal is there. And then of course you see I have a lot of exposed dirt over here, which I want to also cover up as well. I want it to look more along the lines of like this, just so when we're weed eating or, you know, grass seeds are shedding and the wind is blowing, I would rather them blow on top of a leaf than right into my soil. So that's just kind of my thinking. Used to, I would come out here, I would clean up after the fall and winter. I would come out and clean up all of my beds and just let my dirt be so pretty, weed everything, and it would just be, you know, this beautiful bed. Well, I have started to change in my older years because I just cannot weed like I used to. And of course, you guys saw us plant this in potatoes, and obviously as soon as these are up, we are going to be taking black tarps and covering this up and not planting again until winter, so I don't have to worry about the grass just running totally rampant in this bed, because it is so bad in this bed. But I'm also going to be adding some leaves here. I'm going to walk y'all over and show y'all where I'm also going to be putting some more leaves. That is in this asparagus bed right here, which I've already picked like 20 asparagus off of, and it's really not even spring yet. So I'm hoping that those will continue to produce really well right there, because I did have to transplant those. And then this area right here, I'm going to come in and put some potatoes on this side, garlic on this side, and then re-deep bed all of this again with some leaves, hoping that it will help somewhat control the grass until we dig those up. The potatoes will come up before the garlic, but then again, when we get everything up, I'm hoping to again cover that, let it rest, and then I'm hoping that we can turn around and replant this for fall, in hopes that we're not having to fight the grass as much. So those are my kind of plans. A couple of things that I needed to do today. I also have been cleaning up my food forest. That's what I did mostly yesterday, was come in my food forest that's back here. And I have really envisioned this for a really long time, and it's finally starting to come together. I moved my raspberries back here. This is blackberry right here, and the thorns are extremely sharp. So I did a couple of things with this. The places that had rooted in the ground and started making a new plant, I come and made a plant here, which I'm going to need to rewater again in just a minute. Plant here, a plant over there, and there's one on the other side of this elderberry. Now, this elderberry was actually right in front of our shop, which has grown great, and I'm not complaining. I love volunteer stuff, but it was not ideal because it was right up against our building, and these things can grow to be pretty big. So not only do we have a buffer zone right here, one of the other things that I'm doing, y'all, is all over our property, raspberries, blackberries, any kind of thorny fruit, I'm really building a barrier. So this is one of our fence lines here to the very back side of our property, which is where my food forest is going to be. But not only am I worried about making a food forest, I want to make a barrier for anybody who decides that they can jump over the barbed wire, or whatever they want to do for the barbed wire. Whatever that looks like, they have to get through the barbed wire, but then they're also going to have to go through thorns. So just thinking and planning ahead. You guys know, a lot of you know that we're preppers. There may come a day when we do need to defend our property, and having thorny bushes all along our fence lines is going to play a major role in another form of protection. So excited that the blackberries are really just taking off like they did. I actually had somebody call me last year, and this is the kind of stuff you guys want to find. She said, Misty, there is a wild blackberry growing in my flowers and it needs to go. Can you please come dig it up? It produces beautiful blackberries, but I'm older and I don't want to have to deal with this bush in my flowers. So I said, yes, absolutely. I actually split that into two, and you see that they have grown beautifully right here, and was able to actually already take, I just transplanted that last spring, and was able to take some of those up and already start transplanting. And I do anticipate taking more cuttings off of this and rooting those and planting before it gets too hot again along that fence line. So a lot going on in the food forest back here. Like I said, I moved these. I want to continue to add more elderberry back here as kind of like a buffer zone. Yesterday, y'all see how some of the, let me find the stuff that I was cleaning up, like this right here, this kind of hedge stuff right here that just kind of comes in and takes over. Yesterday I just walked through and just kind of pulled that stuff up so that it just doesn't take over my food forest. And there was a lot of little viney things in here, kind of like that. So just some maintenance back here. I have to do it one section at a time. So if you plan on doing anything like this, just remember not to get overwhelmed. I started along the barn side and really made it only to these trees right here. So I'm just kind of working in this area, and then as I get this cleaned up and set like I want it, I'll move on down. One of the first things I'm gonna do to actually start my day off, because I've spent way too much time talking, is go to my elderberry tree. Not all of my elderberry cuttings will take root, so some of them will take root and do amazing, and some of them it is just too much of a shock and they just will not root. So that's okay. I always do a couple extra, so I have those started. I know that not all of them are going to root, so I'm going to come and get some more cuttings. This is my mother tree right here, and she's already starting to put leaves out again. So I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of cuttings from this tree, and it's really easy to do, y'all. If you know exactly where an elderberry tree is, it's really easy to take cuttings. I have a video over on the Max channel all about elderberry. It's like a whole list of stuff if you guys are interested and want to check that out. Great Pyrenees are really, really good with animals. And y'all just saw Hattie Mae kind of being like a mama to her. They are wonderful protector, natured towards protecting those animals. Now my border collies, as good at dogs as they are, they're on guard, ready to pounce after her. So definitely wouldn't be cleaning her up like you just saw Hattie Mae doing. So I decided to go ahead and just turn the camera on and show y'all what I'm doing, since I'm doing it anyway, and some of you guys may have a little bit of a hard time finding the video over on the Max, because unfortunately most of our farm stuff is on this channel, and used to share on that channel was a lot of what you guys are seeing now. But I wanted to show y'all this real quick. So this is what it would actually end up looking like. Now I planted this a couple of days ago, and all of this is going to die off. Okay, y'all, it's just what it does. All of this kind of dies off as the stem is making a root at the bottom, and once that root settles in, this live stem is going to just produce all new vegetation. And I usually will just come on in here and just kind of clip this stuff that dies back off. But how you get to that point is like this. So I have brought my whole stem in. This is where I got the cutting from, and all I need, this needs to go. I need this piece right here. Now I really need better scissors, but this is all I got, so I'm gonna have to work with what I got. I really only need, so this is my bottom piece right here. I'm just going to come in and clip this green off using my thumb without getting into the wood. And I really don't need this piece right here, but I'm just going to leave that on there because it doesn't really matter. Take my pot. Now this piece right here that I just took the green leaves off of the bottom goes down into the pot. When I put dirt on top of that and keep this really, really moist, where those leaves used to be are going to now make roots. Now where you see these little green leaves at the top, these are going to die off, and like I said, that's okay. It's just going to happen. I will come back once those die off and just kind of pinch those off, and then new leaves are going to grow right there, and then you're going to have a whole new live plant that you can take and continue to transplant until these things are ready to go in the ground. This one still looks pretty good. This one still looks pretty good, but you have to bear in mind that they're not all going to take, and that's okay. They're not all going to root. That's okay. That's why you do multiples to get the number that you want. The key I have always found with elderberry is to keep them really, really wet. There you go, just break it off. Kinda, look, you gotta take some more of this off. See that? Yeah. There you go, now put it down in there.
Oh,
good.
Here. Oh, here. Oh, here. Video. Oh, my daddy, video. Oh, daddy,
Well, y'all, you can see the sun going down. I'm going to show you real quick what I've done. We're going to call it a day. It has been a long day. I have been able to kind of work through a couple of symptoms that I'm still having. Jennings has seemed to be a little bit better this afternoon. The girls feel a little bit better. It's usually worse in the mornings and once the sun goes down. So I know I'm probably going to be going in to crying kids, but I was able to get a lot done today. Of course, this looks totally different. These rows are the potatoes. You can kind of see these rows. Those are all the garlic. I was also able to, back behind this back barn where there's a bunch of trees, I was able to gather up a lot of leaves and put around these beds right here, where I will eventually come beside these. It was my original plan to make these a little bit more raised and not as much ground level, but I'm going to eventually get some boards and come around and build that up a little bit so that my dirt and my leaves won't come out. Same goes for this bed over here. Also, when people are weed eating along this line right here, you can kind of see the grass line. Not extremely prominent right now because the grass is not actively growing yet, but I did the same thing in this bed right here. Just lots of heavy leaves right there. Those are where my mints are. Back here in the back is where I was telling y'all, if y'all look at this ground I have raked up, this was nothing but leaves, kind of like what this looks like, but this gets more sun and it's got some grass in it, so I did not go for here. There's never grass over here because if you look up, there's a big tree right there and there's a big tree right there, and it really just never gets sun right here. And there was a pile of leaves, so I've just been coming back in here, raking up the leaves, taking it and putting it on the bed. Somewhat started on right here. Y'all saw us plant these potatoes, and I told y'all I was going to come back and put some leaves in the rows, which is what I got this section done right here, and some water going. You can still see the potato row, but I'm just coming in with heavy layers of leaves on the side, and I'm hoping that that is going to help suppress some of that grass growth and save my back a little bit later, because before those are ready to come up, which we're not growing a summer crop here, this is only for potatoes, but by the time we get ready to dig those up, grass will have already well taken off, and I don't want it to take over this bed, so it has been my intentions to try to suppress that as much as possible. Then we're going to cover it up for the season. I had gotten a couple of runners off of my raspberry plants from last year and kept those in the greenhouse all winter. I planted one here, and because I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket, I obviously did not plant all of them in the same place. So one here, and way over in my kitchen garden, which is where they all originally started, one right here. So y'all, I'm tired for real. I know I look tired, and even though I had a couple of setbacks from today with some of those symptoms kind of reappearing for me today, I just worked through those. There was a lot I needed to get done, and I knew that if I stayed inside, it was going to put us a little bit more behind. So I worked through all of that, got a lot done. I'm glad to have it all done. Thank y'all as always for following along with the crazy things that happen here on the farm. Even when things don't always go our way, like the kids being sick and me kind of relapsing back into that, I don't know what was the deal. Thank y'all again for tagging along. God bless and happy homesteading, y'all.